Welcome to Clear Minds. There's a kind of loneliness that's hard to put into words. It isn't just being by yourself. It's the feeling that you have fallen so far, no one can possibly reach you. That was my rock bottom. A total blur of health scares, broken relationships, and a silence so loud it was deafening. This is the story of how I ended up there and how I eventually found my way back. I always thought rock bottom was just some dramatic line from a movie. I never, ever thought it would be my life. But it didn't announce itself. It just crept in, piece by piece, until I was completely buried. It started with my health. Sleep was a luxury I couldn't afford. I woke up with my hand shaking, a tremor I just couldn't control. My whole body felt toxic. I was living in a constant state of anxiety, my heart pounding from stress and pure neglect. Then the emotional collapse began. The deepest pain wasn't physical, it was the soul crushing weight of shame. I looked at myself and saw a failure, a ghost haunting my own life. I got really good at building walls, at saying just the right thing to push people away before they could see the real mess. Friendships I had for years just faded into unanswered texts. When my family tried to show concern, it just sounded like judgment, so I shut them out too. Eventually, the phone stopped ringing, and the silence was the loudest thing in my world. It was a constant, screaming reminder of the isolation I'd built for myself. I was drowning in hopelessness, completely convinced I was too broken to be fixed. The person I showed the world was a stranger, a mask, and the real me was crumbling inside. Every morning was a fight, and honestly, most days I lost. My turning point wasn't some big cinematic moment. It was a quiet and it was brutal. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I caught my reflection in the TV on my screen. I just stared. I had no idea who was looking back at me. I saw hollow eyes, a face carved with pain, and a spirit that just looked gone. For the first time, I didn't see someone who was fighting. I saw someone who had already given up. And in that moment, one terrifying question hit me. Is this it? Is this really how my story ends? That reflection was the alarm I couldn't hit the snooze on. It was a head on collision with the truth of what I'd become. I realized rock bottom isn't a final destination, it's a choice. It's choosing to stay on the floor. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I thought about maybe, just maybe, making a different choice. I had to, because the person in that reflection terrified me. Getting back up wasn't a leap. It was a slow, painful crawl. It started with tiny, almost invisible steps that broke down into a few promises that I made myself. First, I had to surrender. Not give up, but give in. I'd been fighting the truth for so long, my first real step was saying the words out loud, just to myself in an empty room. I'm not okay, and I need help. Saying that was both the hardest and the most freeing thing I've ever done. It was the first crack of light in a pitch black room. Second, I had to take that terrifying first step to break my isolation. For me, that meant making a single phone call. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely press the numbers. I called the recovery center, and then the person on the other end didn't judge me. They just listened to that one conversation, and it was a lifeline. It proved to me that asking for help isn't weakness, it's one of the bravest things you could ever do. And third, I had to rebuild my life, one piece at a time. There was no magic solution. Recovery wasn't a straight line. It was messy. It was two steps forward and one step back. I started celebrating the small wins. Getting a full night of sleep, that was a victory. Eating a proper meal, a victory. Going on a 5-minute walk, that felt like a win in a championship. I had to learn to care for my body and mind with the same energy I used to destroy them. I had to learn to actually feel my emotions instead of numbing them, to sit with the pain and trust that it would eventually pass. Looking back, hitting rock bottom was the best thing that ever happened to me. It burned everything to the ground and it forced me to rebuild my life on a foundation of actual honesty and self worth. That horrible moment wasn't the end, it was a violent, messy, and necessary beginning. It gave me a second chance at life I never knew I would have. If you're watching this and you feel like you lost, if you feel like you're at the bottom, please hear me when I say you're not alone. And there's always a way back. Your story isn't over. The first step, no matter how small it feels, is the most powerful one you'll ever take. Share your story in the comments. Reading what other people have gone through can be a powerful reminder that we're all in this together. And if this helped you, please subscribe for more on rebuilding and finding your way. Thank you for listening. Till next time.